So let's talk a bit about Grok.
Let's rock the grok. Did you get a chance to watch the presentation? I tried to stay up for it and then I didn't, but I watched
Yeah.
it early this morning.
Yeah, so it actually started when I was going to bed and I had it on and it ran while I was asleep. So I passed out. It ran while I was asleep. Um, but then after I woke up, it was like the first thing I listened to was the presentation. And there were some good things from the presentation. We all heard about how they had this colossal effort to stand up Colossus or whatever they
Ooh.
did at Memphis to get the first 100,000 NVIDIA H100s going. But they also revealed that in less time, they added a second 100,000 H100s to Memphis. So I think that was in like around 90 days, whereas the first one was done in 120 days.
That
And
is so ridiculous.
yeah,
Like the
so they did,
hardware
yeah,
team they have is
they essentially did it in 4 months, and the quote they got from other providers was they could do it in 18 to 24 months. So they did it themselves. And Elon said, if we waited the 18 to 24 months, it'd have been too late. So that was very impressive. It was fun to see Elon having a good time with three other XAI employees, and they showed off some of the capabilities. Very strong benchmark scores, strong LM Arena scores, where you have one chatbot go against the other. Now, these things can be gamed somewhat. So I did a limited test of it, and it seemed very strong with some programming insights. Now I don't know if it's regularly going to create code that'll be error free and work the first time out of the gate, but I was impressed with things it noticed from my code without even me prompting it. So there's some complicated code I have for a project we're doing internally, and I had it look at the code. There's no customer data in the code, and just tell me, okay, what does this code do? And it gave me the best summary that any LLM has provided for what the code does. It even color coded the summary, which was cool. And then it talked about some shortcomings in the code or potential shortcomings. So I was very impressed by that. So I'm curious to see where things shake out and if it's going to be the best coder that I'm going to lean on. But what do you think about, before we continue on Grok, what do you think about Grok in your car? We heard from Tesla AI coming into this that they want to bring Grok to your car. So like when you're in your car, you can talk to Grok.
yeah, that seems like an obvious extension. Seems inevitable. Like the voice commands are really good, but that's obviously a pretty dumb system. That's wouldn't have surprised us 5 years ago if the
Hopefully it's better
capability.
than Siri though.
Oh my gosh, Siri is still the absolute worst. Apple Intelligence is an oxymoron. Um, yeah, but so it seems like that is just a natural thing to do and it will increase the overall user experience. But I don't think it's like some mind blowing thing that's going to change Tesla's earnings profile or anything like that. So I think it's just like a very obvious kind of next step that they'll be doing. Maybe not next step, but future step.
Mhm. I wonder what fallout there'll be from this, because Grok 3 appears to be very capable. We'll see how things shake out over the next couple weeks. Um, if it is, still number one, and maybe Jordan, if you can like somehow show the Grok 3 signature, which is funny. Maybe I can present it on my screen. I don't know, but there someone did a remake of the Gavin. There it is. So it's Grok 3, the Gavin Belson remake from the Silicon Valley show, and the company was called Hooli, I think after Google. Just hilarious, and he's like presenting it like this at the grand reveal. Um, Basically, his employees were calling him a big jerk or whatever.
After all that, you're censoring the D word.
I wonder if OpenAI is going to struggle with their next capital raise now. I would be, if I'm looking to invest in OpenAI, I'd be a little concerned. Maybe OpenAI already has a better model internally than Grok 3. We'll see. What are your thoughts on this, Matt?
Yeah, so I wanted to take a broader lens at this. Like,
Okay.
obviously, the Grok 3 stuff was super impressive, and I think they've leapfrogged a lot of the abilities. And I think the thing that was most impressive to me was just how quickly they've done that. When you look at the kind of rate of improvement, they're moving really fast. I think a lot of that has to do with how quickly they're standing up new hardware, but there's also undoubtedly some things that they're doing with their training approach that's allowing them to leapfrog so quickly. I'm not going to just jump on the Elon bandwagon and say, okay, XAI is winning and Grok's going to be the best, like, from here on out, and it's going to be like solving Nobel Prize worthy physics solutions in the next year. I can definitely see that happening, but I'm not going to be a partisan about it and say that will happen. What I find so interesting is like how much this is improving our lives. You told me today to subscribe to ChatGPT Pro and try the deep research, and I was blown away by that. So I gave it a prompt to do a research report on this company that we were looking at today, set it to go. I went down to grab some lunch, came back upstairs. I thought it would run for 2-3 minutes or something like that. I didn't time it, but it must have been 15 minutes or so, and checked 30 some different sources, compiled it all together in a really great report with all the different citations in there. And it significantly sped up the research that I was doing. And so it's just like thinking of how much better it's going to make me as an analyst looking at new companies and evaluating different investment opportunities. Like, it's going to allow me and us to do a whole lot more. So regardless of how which individual model ends up winning out over time, or some, I don't know, cohort of many different ones with different specialties, this is going to be an amazing thing for the economy. And as an investor, I think this is one of the macro theme that I believe in almost more than anything else, is like GDP growth is going to be a lot higher in the future than it was in the past. And I think that's going to break a lot of the old kind of rules of thumb that I was taught about investing when I went to undergrad. Like stocks will return 8% a year because that's what they've done since 1925. Like, literally, that's where that came from. It's just, if you take the average from 1925 to present, it's 8%. So like, you just use that as your estimate for what it will be in the next 50, 100 years. And to me, that is not going to work, because you're going to have much higher efficiency and an acceleration of technology. So I think the returns in broader markets are going to be a lot higher than that. And there's going to be also an increase in disparity between winners and losers. So there are going to be some companies that 100x or more, and then a lot of companies that just get disrupted along the way. So that's why I think this is, as an investor, just such an exciting moment. A bit more of a higher level thought for me, but like I think it's such an important time that we're living in, or recognizing this time that we're living in is so important for potential investors.